Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, always, is Ben.
Hey. What's up?
We're just always recording podcasts.
24 hours a day, baby. If you want
no,
literally 24 hours. But if you want the other 20, if you want the, more than 1 hour a week, that's a hefty Patreon tier. Hefty.
Our podcasts have been more than 1 hour a week, and some weeks I have released more than one episode.
But if you want more than that feed, if you want the underground feed, what would your going rate be to record podcasts 24 hours a day?
24 hours a day?
Yeah.
24 hours a day is a lot.
I mean,
enough money to live on.
I assume that it, just be the podcast. So in theory, we could take shifts. Probably have to bring on some guests or get real comfortable monologuing. I don't know.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Deploy the night canopy.
I was going to say, speaking of nightmares.
We're talking about Slaughterhouse-Five and adaptations of Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yeah.
Slaughterhouse-Five, the book by Kurt Vonnegut.
It was a good book.
Yeah. I'm a big Kurt Vonnegut fan. I had the phase where I just read all his books, although I fell off. I think there's like one or two I didn't get to. And I haven't read all his short story collections. But I've read the majority of his books. The vast majority.
So it hit me while reading this, and then after I finished, that this could definitely be one of those books that this was my first time reading it all through, by the way. I'd never even started. I'd seen like a few quips here and there, but
Sure.
Definitely seems like the sort of thing that like somewhat the same type of person who's like, oh my god, I am the Joker, like that they would read and like they'd come face to face with like a tragedy or something, and they'd just be like, so it goes, right? Thought crossed my mind, but no, this was good shit.
I have heard that a problem with like high school teachers teaching this book is you have to be ready to confront the thing of like teenagers who just think like, oh, Billy Pilgrim is a genius. He's figured out a. You just have to be like Billy Pilgrim.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Nah, no. How? Why not? He's a perfect model. Right up there.
No.
Yeah. So I've actually only seen like one quote from this before. Do you know which one it is? Do you have a guess?
Is it everything is fine and nothing hurt?
Sorta. I mean, it's the whole bit with like the bombs getting sucked back up into the airplanes.
Oh, okay.
But people leave off the Adam and Eve bit afterwards. But
That's funny.
I've seen I don't know how many times I'd seen that. I actually thought that's how the book ended for some reason. Nope. Like I thought that was the final.
You could read the beginning of the book and find out how the book ends.
Okay, well,
He says it right up front.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I started reading, I was like, yeah, this is a Hank book. This narrative is all the fuck over the place.
I mean, that's like why I love Kurt Vonnegut, because he's playing with the medium.
Yeah, man.
And that he goes, that is a thing he does. He doesn't do it in every book, but he definitely, that is a crutch he leans on, and I love it every time. It's kind of like there are books that like it's just an intro of him talking about himself, and then the rest of the book, and like that bit in the beginning is just like my favorite part. I forget which one that is. He's like he tells the story of how his sister died, and it's like incredibly stupid and tragic.
Great.
Huh?
Oh, wait. Sorry. So it goes.
Yeah. There you go.
One of these days. One of these days.
You just, I mean, the really important one, though, is you drink, like, flat soda, and you're like, oh, so it goes.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean,
like, when the champagne was dead, or whatever.
Oh,
so
yeah. The champagne is dead. Right. I mean,
anything that's dead.
What's really going to happen? Well, one of the someday the dream of doing the podcast at a certain time that dream will be dead, and then I'll just hit you with So It Goes. And you'll have to regret like having me read this book.
Saying So It Goes is not the worst tick in terms of like ticks. I've done it.
Yeah, but you know, you can't like if I'm the one who killed the dream of recording the podcast and then I hit you with So It Goes. That's still it's a bit shitty.
Meh.
Certainly worse things to say, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Billy Pilgrim has become unstuck in time.
Yeah, he bounces around. He really whiplashes. So yeah, I had like no idea really what to expect from this book. I should have done like a pre-write, like what I actually know about this book and everything, like before reading it. I'm trying to remember now if I ever actually knew what the plot was at all. Like if I even knew that it was about World War II or that it was a little bit sci-fi and stuff. Like if it had those elements. I don't think I did.
Like because you haven't read any Kurt Vonnegut.
Zero. I mean, I see it mentioned all over the place, all over, and to the point where even like coming in this book, it was a little bit of not a double-edged sword, but like on one hand, I'm like, okay, Hank really likes this book, so that's a good sign.
True.
Enough people that I respect otherwise have, aside from yourself, also like this book. That's a pretty good sign. But also, holy shit, people don't shut up about this book, and it kind of makes me a little irked. So I was working a little bit against it, but I mean, I it's not like I was, you know, everybody's talking about the latest thing. I don't want to do the latest thing. It's stupid.
I mean, it's not. It's a novel from 1969. It's not the latest thing.
I mean, okay, I get when I hear people like stroking off about East of Eden. It makes me want to read East of Eden less, honestly.
Yeah, fair. I mean, the reason I wanted to do this episode was because of the comic book adaptations. I guess that is the latest thing. Even though that's like
everybody's talking about that Slaughterhouse-Five graphic novel adaptation. I just can't. It's all over Russia. It's the hottest. That was also very good. That was a good. So my saga trying to get this book, I bought it. I couldn't. I'm back in America. In my rinky-dink hometown, which doesn't have any stores. So I gotta go to the town over that actually has, like, the movie theater and whatnot. And the used bookstore did not have Slaughterhouse-Five. and I forgot that we had lost our only like regular bookstore. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm ordering this.
God. Yeah, bookstores, endangered species.
Just brutal. And the
Yeah.
used bookstore does, I mean, it's for the location, like it has quite a lot of stuff. They just happen to not have that.
Mm-hmm.
But ordered it, got the wrong edition. Thankfully they were chill and just like gave me the $4 back or $9 or whatever the hell it was. And then I said, fuck it. I just ordered a new edition of the book, and instead of trying to find it online, I just bought the graphic novel as well, which was turned out to be a nice hardcover. So had a good time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out in paperback yet.
It seemed like it was. I don't know. I vaguely recall the pricing on Amazon implying that it had been in paperback and no longer was, because it was like stupidly expensive, like dumb out of print expensive. But I don't know. I might be misremembering.
Yeah, it sold out when it first came out, so there was a while where I couldn't get it, and then eventually it came back in print.
Gotcha. Because this
of
was
pandemic stuff.
I was gonna say this is 2020, so it
yes,
it's right in the thick of it.
Good, real good timing.
Perfect time to release a product. Yeah. Demand at all-time high, supply at all-time low. The perfect storm.
Mm-hmm. So it goes.
Yeah. So this. I mean, it was riveting,
It's really, I mean, yeah.
I never, so he's hopping back between, the various, I guess like kind of 3 major points is how I'll divide it. It's more, of course, but like during war, during like post-war, and then like post-abduction, I guess, or during active abduction is how I'll split it.
There are multiple points.
Yeah. But I never felt like I wanted to get away from any of them, like in those viewpoints and stuff. Like sometimes if that's going on, or I guess more commonly if there's like multiple characters, you just want to get back to like the one that you're super into. And I didn't feel that. Like I was interested for all of these.
There's kind of equally nothing going on during all of the time period.
Yeah, which is why the film sucked ass. There was way too much going on, and I'm like, why is he talking so much? Why is everybody talking so much? God,
because they're not doing voiceover.
Ugh.
And you've taken away all the Kurt Vonnegut out of it.
Well, yeah.
So all your narration is gone.
And I mean, like I was thinking afterwards when I finished the film, I'm like, well, that wasn't right. How do you make this right? I have no fucking idea. This is like one of the hardest things that you could possibly film.
No, I see. I'm soft on the movie because I think the task was kind of impossible.
Yeah,
and I'm just glad somebody tried, even though I mean, Kurt Vonnegut describes the book as a failure, which I don't agree with, but the movie was a failure of adapting the book. But whatever. It focuses way too fucking much on Montana, but it is a horny adaptation. Fucking 70s.
Yeah, I watched the film like immediately after finishing the book and graphic novel.
Gotcha.
I was I was not in the heads. I was not ready to deal with a shit take on this media. So I wasn't like, in hindsight, like, I could have a laugh about it, and it's like whatever. And there was some stuff that I probably would legitimately laugh at now just for the absurdity. Yeah. But at the time I was like, How dare you? How fucking dare you?
See, I
Unbelievable.
mostly the thing I just like how they handle being unstuck in time with the editing. Sometimes they go a little too far, but just in general, like this the hard jump cuts.
Mm-hmm.
I just like when they like put Paul Lazaro's face in the sky, that I'm less excited about, but it's like a little much.
Dude, that was, you know what? That was the other thing. This film aged terribly. God, the amount of slurs is just absurd.
Yeah,
Like,
they're all
holy shit,
they've thrown on top of it.
they added stuff. They added
Yeah.
little elements to have more of them, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that was rough.
Mm-hmm. I didn't remember that those were in there at all. It's been a long time since I watched the movie,
Yeah, that's fair.
but yeah, those are rough.
I mean, the book uses the word fairy once,
Yeah.
but it didn't feel like it was in a negative way. It just felt like it was in a way that has since aged out of being okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's incorrect, but that's how I took it. But yeah, no, the film just said, fuck it, all in on this bad plan.
Yup.
I was, I forget if the film brought it up. The comic generously did not have an art panel for this, and the book felt the need, it was there. Had never encountered the concept of like cutting off somebody's eyelids before. That was rough. That was little serial.
Yeah.
I can't in good faith give this novel a serial friendly rating.
Yeah, I think they live that entirely out of the movie.
They still have the
The
dog
te-
bit
but-
though.
Yeah. Well, so it's you could tell like the way things are different in different time periods, because in the comic the panel with the dog story is like a caption, this is where Paul Lazaro tells his terrible dog story, basically.
Yeah.
Like they don't it's not just there in text. It's not like just the text of the novel. It's like here's the part where he tells that fucked up story.
Well, I think they.
But the eyelids and the honey on your dick, like drawing that with some tasteful word captions.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was like the graphic novel was so good.
It's a great adaptation.
Like just how it brings it keeps like the same vibe, but it does so well at playing with it in a comic medium.
Mm-hmm. And like
Really good.
when it makes Kilgore Trout a comic book writer, so when he gets all his stories, they can like, do them as like old comics. That shit's really good.
So good. And
but yeah, like the formatting, honestly, just in general, like, I mean, the formatting works in comics. Like Watchmen is an example of taking that unstuck in time idea, so like it makes sense. It works for comics because if you just in terms of you look at a page of a comic and you're seeing through time, if you just take in a whole page,
yeah.
like it actually is the medium kind of just works that way in a
Dude,
way that
in the
other mediums don't.
in the oh, fuck me, why can't I remember the Tralfamador couldn't remember where the L's and the M's fell. Like their stuff was really good in the comic. Like when they do that sort of, what is it, like just a book, but it's like a shitload of images that you just take in all at once, and it paints a bunch of moments together that are
Yeah.
unrelated, but that was so
Hmm.
cool that they drew all the little background, not panels, but that collage.
Yeah.
Getting to see that, like, they just, it was so good.
Hmm.
And just how, I don't know, they had a good ratio of, like, sometimes they would do like a text narration, and other times they would do like an image narration. I liked it. They didn't just stick to one.
Hmm.
Do you have any like favorite bits from the story at large,
Favorite bits.
or like lines, or something that you
I don't know. I like fucking all of it. So
uh
there's just something about like the way he paces stuff, like um like showing this story of this character, and then cutting to like this is, and then this is how this person died.
yeah. Yeah.
Like which is a thing Stephen King steals from Kurt Vonnegut sometimes. Having been listening to Stephen King podcasts, it's just like the like the linear form of the story sequentially isn't interesting. Like he, because you think of it, the book as like he's been trying to figure out a way to write his Dresden novel, like Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah.
And like if you think of it, it's like he didn't know how to tell the story in like a normal way. So
Mm-hmm.
the unstuck in time thing kind of like becomes a way to solve a problem as much as anything. And like the part where he's like sure that he's very clear on how he's going to end it with that, like the end, or what he's talking about, the end of the story is Edward Derby getting shot for stealing a teapot
Yeah.
after the bombing. That like that that incredibly stupid extra sense of slaughter, it's like the cherry on top or whatever. Just like well thought out for the senselessness of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and the focus on like being able to tell a story about war that doesn't glorify it ever.
Well, yeah, that
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 it
bit in the
isn't
beginning
like
as
the
well.
part where he's like, this isn't war isn't a place for heroes, because war just makes you tired and drains everything from you.
Yeah.
Because there's a part where it's saying like war isn't a place for characters, in a moment where Edward Derby was becoming a character because he was standing up to a Nazi, giving a speech.
Yeah, yeah, the Campbell.
Yeah.
I mean, I was leading up to just my favorite line being, I didn't even write it down, but the he wept as he was jiggled to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Turns on the magic fingers, and like that line destroyed me. I was dying. And my parents they didn't find it nearly as funny, so I'm just sitting there laughing my ass off, and they're just like, "Okay, do you need to go to bed?
Do you need to go to bed?
Like, are you tired? Are you jet lagged?" No, the humor, and then the dark shit, like when he, I think it's when he's in the when Billy Pilgrim is in the boxcar, the train, I think.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, like there's a line about him, like he coughs and he shits thin gruel, and like the bit
Yeah.
about Newton's third law, and like this would be useful in rocketry. Like just this horrifying shit, literal
Yeah.
shit in this case, and then just like flipping on its head so quickly, but without
Mm-hmm.
without detracting from the fucking horror of it all, which is ultimately what I think the film, like that's what offended me the most, was that it felt like it took that horror out, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean I think the thing I've been reflecting on the most, like as an actual concept from the novel and from the graphic novel, just that, you know, at various moments the bird, the Poo-to-weet,
Mm-hmm.
it very striking, like just such a I mean, in the book imagining it, right, and then the comic handled it perfectly and really brought that to life, like for me. Just like sometimes shit is just so absolutely fucked that you like there's nothing you could possibly say. And
Mm-hmm.
like I did my little post read, like light research, and it some, I think just Wikipedia talked about the bird tweeting as like a symbol for like filling space with silence, like when there's just no words. I'm like, that makes sense. That fucked me up a little bit, honestly. It's just real
Yeah,
good.
Those black panels at the end of the
Dude.
comic.
Yeah. And then is it actually for once I have the comic next to me. Ha. I can look.
Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to confirm. They have, yeah, and then it's like the violet at the end. The very, very end. But no, that was also good.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Just great stuff. They really in the film, they made Lazaro. They made Paul Lazaro like just insane. I don't know if it's better in a way or worse.
I mean, he is described as if he were a dog, the police officers would kill him and check him to see if he had rabies.
True.
It's not. He goes around like if someone touches him, he talks about how he's going to like plan their murder later. He's not a.
Yeah. I think it's just because, like, again, we don't hear.
I mean, it's
we don't hear or see nearly as much in the book of anybody. And the
yeah,
film,
no,
they
like
just bring him in.
the movie fixates on stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a movie, and because it only has they like cut out characters. And
Well, and they did. Shit, why can't I remember his name? Who's the guy who stole the teapot? Irby, somebody.
Edgar Derby.
Edgar Derby. I got a letter right. Like in the book, he's like he like took care of his body, and he was actually like a specimen of a human. And then in the movie, they're just like, nah. What if he was a beloved tennis coach, middle-aged teacher, physique sort of guy?
Well, yeah, and they like make him and Billy like close
Buds?
in a way they're just not. Yeah.
Yeah, like a full-on sort of like. Well, I mean, just that was like the first thing I noticed was Billy was talking so much. Like he was talking just constantly in comparison.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you don't have the narration.
I guess. You could just, I see that's like what do you what do you do? Do you just have him like stand silently and try to act it out?
I mean, probably. That's probably what I would do. But I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't. I like. Yeah, they don't. They're. You're right about the horror thing. Like, the movie's version of Dresden after the bombing is not desolate enough
Holy shit, not even close.
at all. Like, there are people fighting fires, and I'm like,
Yeah, they're like
what
yeah.
are you doing?
There are people they have like a fire truck and shit.
Like, they went on a fucking march out of the city because there was they needed food, and there was nothing there. They had to all leave
Literally nothing.
immediately.
Dude, describing that whole scene. I mean, that whole, not even just scene, that whole sequence as like being on the moon,
Yeah.
top tier. Like,
Yeah.
what a
Like
way
you're just
to
climbing over bomb ridges made by meteors.
yeah, and like the silence, because there'd be
Yeah.
like fuck all there.
Yeah.
Like
Just
just
everything is
unbelievable.
rock
Yeah.
because it's all been burned.
I I had gotten Anya's mom a copy of The White Company translated,
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't, I mean, not super into it, which, not the most popular novel. So I imagine the translation is just kind of there as a formality more than anything. But I'm like, I think like Anya, you should read this book, and your mom should read it, and everybody should read it. That's what everybody's getting for Christmas.
I think it's still not. It's not my favorite Kurt Vonnegut book either. My favorite's Cat's Cradle, but it's up there with my favorite. It's top 5. It's probably top 3, top 2 maybe. I don't know.
Out of how many?
Out of his
Roughly.
many.
Classic.
15 or something. I really don't remember how many novels he wrote. I was staring at my bookshelf where I have the books.
Wow, I think it's only 14, so that's embarrassing
Wow.
for you.
I know what the 2
Yeah.
worst novels are.
Which?
His first novel and his last novel. Player
Interesting.
Piano and Timequake. Those are his worst.
Huh.
Player Piano is his book that doesn't feel like a Kurt Vonnegut book. Like he just hadn't found his voice yet.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And
That
I think
makes sense.
Timequake is like unfinished.
Says he called it a stew.
Sure, that sounds like a thing he would say.
Yeah, I mean, probably what will happen is I'll say that I'll check out more of his novels.
And then you won't.
And there's like a 50-50 chance that I do or never ever do. And then maybe at some point you're like, what if we read this novel? I'm like, absolutely, I'm down. I don't know why I haven't read it now, except I'm just a lazy piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. And it's like going back to this, it's telling to me why I read all those books, just because like my book reading muscle is pretty atrophied. I've been using it much. I read this in like a sitting. I just burned through it.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, it was definitely. I thought it was gonna be. I also, coming into it, I thought it was gonna be much like beefier, but it's not. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's not that long.
It's not horribly long.
It's not like any of the fucking Dostoevsky I kind of want to reread. Or those books are long.
Dude, I mean, all of those fat ass Russian novels, like,
Yeah.
they read that like when they're 13 here. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's just, it's too much. But no, this was, I mean, I think it wasn't too many sittings. I mean, it was sort of too many sittings in the way that that I will maybe never finish Pyre in too many sittings. I kept getting interrupted after like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
But
You don't live by yourself.
I mean, I could like just go off, I guess, if I really, really wanted to. Like,
Yeah, but
not
you
be
like why?
disturbed.
That's not a
Depends on the book.
sure.
Depends on the book.
I'd say like I wouldn't expect you to be uninterrupted.
Yeah. Look, the important thing is the interruptions did not happen at key moments. I would have been a little upset if I got interrupted like last page. That'd be bad. I don't like that. Don't take away my my emotional climax. Thank you. Also, I finished the book in like, I mean, the sitting that I finished the book was probably actually doing like half of the book or more. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it read,
And it's also like, there are no surprises. He tells you all the big things that are gonna happen.
oh
up
yeah,
front.
yeah.
Like,
No, it was an interesting.
like this is what the climax of the book is gonna be.
It's such a. I mean, I guess I expected there to be like more of a twist or like a gotcha, like this is what happens, and then it technically happens, but it's in a weird way. But no, just
Nope.
just straight up, this is how it goes.
Mm-hmm. And it's tragic and sad and stupid.
Yeah.
This is what happened. Man, I love Kilgore Trout. Okay, here's my favorite little thing. Kilgore Trout at Billy's birthday party talking about how, oh yeah, everything's in my books are true. You can't put something in a book that's a lie. That's illegal. It's
Pretty
like,
great.
like Kilgore Trout has never. He's like, the attention is making him high, and he's just completely on one.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
God,
So Kilgore Trout and Elliot Rosewater are characters that show up in other Kurt Vonnegut books. Kurt Vonnegut has characters he goes back to. Kilgore Trout being the biggest one.
yeah, I saw
Uses.
something about that. Yeah, that they were like reoccurring and used.
Mm-hmm. Kilgore Trout, his like stand-in for himself, even though he also just puts himself in his books, like this one.
I love the.
But like makes a point to say he's the prolific science fiction writer, but all his work writing is terrible.
Yeah, great ideas.
like-
terrible writing.
Yeah, it's like Kurt Vonnegut just like has an idea for a thing with like, that's stupid. Oh, that's a Kilgore Trout idea. Or like, that wouldn't make a full book.
God, I love the
I love his
bit.
story about the Bible too.
Hmm?
The Kilgore Trout story about
Uh,
the Tralfamadorians making the next Bible.
yeah, I was just gonna mention that. Like, that's such a
Yeah.
good. Like, he said all the stupid stuff he said, but this time he fucks him up.
Well, this Jesus just sucked, but he still said all that stuff. But then at the end, God came down and said, "Hey, I'm adopting this bum.
And then
Be
he
nice to
gives him all the
bums.
powers.
You never know. You never know what bum might
Yeah.
become important."
Like,
But,
this felt like a very, very modern novel. Like, I would not, reading it without knowing, I would not place it as old as it is.
yeah,
You know?
I don't know. It's
Like that.
that time. What's interesting is that like around the time that this new book comes out, like all the anti-war books are about Vietnam
Yeah, that makes sense.
because
Oh, is
he's
this
writing it so late.
Oh yeah,
So
1969.
like
Yeah.
writing an anti-war World War II novel, not a thing a lot of people do for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
The Nazis were terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
That's what he did.
definitely. I mean, it seems like anti-World War. I mean, this obviously it's the entire thing is anti-war at
Yeah.
like
Like
throughout.
war.
Yeah.
War in general, more
Yeah.
bad. It's not, but also it's, an iceberg. It's a glacier.
It's where polar
Has a
bears
different-
live.
Yeah. Polar bears only live in war.
Oh. So, and if you're anti-war, you're anti-polar bear.
It's not true just because polar bears' world is rapidly disappearing.
So it goes. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I want to live my life. Just ignore bad things. Focus on the good stuff.
Yeah.
And be completely emotionally and mentally indifferent to suffering.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Doesn't that sound fulfilling?
Yeah. That's what maturity is, right? It's
Just
realizing
deadening yourself inside.
Yeah, it's realizing that everything's
horrors of the
shit.
world.
And I might as well just not bother about anything.
Mm-hmm.
God. Fucking high schoolers. I know they're out there. I know they're out there right now.
Yup.
God. Getting there. They're putting together a Slaughterhouse-Five book report while making their Rorschach costume for Halloween. Little shit bags. Man. Such a good time. So I did have one. I guess it's not a. I don't know if it's really an objective or subjective question. You can tackle it whichever way you feel. Are we
Sure.
to take the abduction at face value in terms of in the novel itself? Obviously you can read stuff into it, but did he in the novel, did he actually get abducted? Do you think?
I think it's a book, so why not?
I mean, yeah, it does. It doesn't.
I think
truly matter,
Vonnegut definitely writes it in such a way that you can easily like say no, it didn't happen, because it's literally when he gets a particular head injury that he starts talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
That just all lines up, but also it's a book,
Yeah, yeah.
so why not?
No, I mean, I, with no rhyme or reason that I can.
The reason and honestly, the things I would point to is where it's real is stuff like Billy wrote recordings about how he was going to die and then locked them in a vault, and then the stuff where he knows he's going to get shot when he gets killed at the end.
Yeah.
His final speech, he's talking about how he's about to die.
True.
There are the actual points to say that it's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also, it's a fucking book.
I mean, yeah, it's a book. We got to overanalyze it until we hate it. That's what books are for. That's what literature is. It's the price of being a great novel.
That's the problem with. I mean, that's like my problem with consuming media where people are talking about media, is that then they do it too long and they become miserable and they're less fun to listen to.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want to be. That's why our podcast is about doing whatever we feel like doing, and not, I don't know.
At least what one of us feels like doing at any given time.
What I feel like doing, and then occasionally I'm like, fine, Ben, you can have one.
And then we do the episode, and afterwards we have a chat about why I don't get to pick more than one thing a month.
It's not inaccurate.
I mean, like, I think the bigger reason is that I just don't consume anything that you haven't already done.
Yeah.
Or that would be like.
And you've liked the stuff I've picked.
Yeah.
It's like the other big thing.
Like, I legitimately,
like, if you hated the stuff I picked, we would have to figure out a different way to pick stuff.
I mean, dartboard and Cosmopolitan's top 10 something or another list.
Oh God.
Just that easy. No, I just, like, every time I try to think, I'm like, I'm ready. I'll bring something to the table. And then I'm like, okay, what films do we got? And that's just a blank list. That's just an eternally blank list. And I'm like, all right, TV shows, what do we got? Maybe. But it's like nothing I'm gunning for. And then, like, there's like a handful of books. It's not, but they're books, and there's not a ton of them. So, like, meh.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, if you ever want to do music, I really got some stuff that you'll probably have. You'll have thoughts on.
Talking about music is hard.
Yeah. I think partially because, like, you got the default is just to compare it to other music, right? A lot.
Yeah. Or talk about lyrics.
Yeah.
But talking about, like, actual music, I don't know. It's difficult.
I can
try, but I also just think I have different tastes in music than you.
There's overlap.
That one's also hard. Yeah.
I'll go out and assume that I have a wider range of music taste, preference, acceptability. One of those.
Okay. You can do that. I don't know if it's true. I can assume.
I'm trying to remember what you what you described you were into at one point. It was like sad but upbeat.
Well, that's just a one thing I happen to particularly like.
Yeah, no. But I'm just like
Songs
that's
that
what
are
I
like
remember.
upbeat pop songs.
We talk
but
about
the lyrics are like an existential.
we
nightmare
talk
or
about
something.
music so infrequently that like those fleeting moments are like when I think of Hank's music profile, it's like sad but upbeat.
Sure.
A nice like catchy boppy tune, kind of joyous but also horrifying and existential.
It's like, my ideal song.
That and
If I had to pick one.
that and the bad lip reading, like it's not a moon. The Star Wars thing.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, that's when I think of you and music, that's like that's what comes up. And They Might Be Giants.
Yeah.
You link a lot of They Might Be Giants stuff.
As far as bands that put out songs consistently that I like, they're the one. Like I really like Johnny Cash. He's not putting out new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So it goes.
Not getting any hot new. I don't know.
No. No other artists. That's it. Like
I could list other artists.
dead ones.
I'm just trying to figure out the one that would be the best, the funniest for that line, and I couldn't come up with the one.
Like Barry Gibb.
Sure.
I mean, it's a fun name to say.
Whatever. I've been listening to Tenacious D recently.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe we'd end up watching Tenacious D.
Well, I don't think that movie is very good.
It has moments. It has moments.
The thing is, there's no reason to watch that movie. There's like a recording of a concert they did after that has most of the songs from that, and it's like them doing the movie but as a stage performance, and it's so much better than the movie because also they get to do tribute at some point. It's just like it's much better as like them performing on a stage than that movie is as watching a movie.
That sounds correct, actually. Cause
Yep.
like it's not like I'm a huge fan of the film or anything. It's just been a hot minute.
Yeah. Did you ever watch The Show?
There's a show. Like,
They had like an HBO show
oh shit!
before all that shit. I think before
How-
their album even.
How long did that go for, and when? Roughly.
I don't remember.
Tenacious.
I don't think it's more than
D.
a season.
Formed in 1994. Oh yeah, 2001 album, three
like
season,
6 episodes.
3-season TV series between 97 and 2000.
3 seasons, but
Three
6 episodes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's okay.
Shit, this wiki article mentions Shallow Hal.
That's a movie.
It feels like one that I want to rewatch, but is
I don't.
probably best left in
I don't.
the
I
past.
don't know that I ever actually watched it.
I watched it when I was still in high school.
Sure.
I was like, man, this is great. Just like it might even be better than Anchorman. I watched Anchorman recently. That is not a great film. It's not, it just, that shit really hits different when you've never really watched anything kind of raunchy and you're also like 14.
The being 14 part, pretty important, I think.
Pretty important, yeah.
Comedies are hard.
Comedies are hard. So was raunchiness, apparently. They didn't even show in Slaughterhouse-Five, they didn't even show the picture of the chick and the horse. Fucking lame.
God, the way that the scene is described when Billy's in the porn bookstore and he's reading the Kilgore Trout novel, and the guys keep like trying to push him to the back to show him the real shit.
This is what a connoisseur
not
such as
interesting.
yourself wants.
Interested, and then they're like, "Here, I've got the real shit hidden here under the desk." It's like, what could be like hidden under the desk in the porn shop? And it's that fucking picture of the woman and the horse. Like, God.
Yeah. Man, what the hell is his name? Hang on. Roland Weary. I loved the comic stuff with him. Like when it's talking about how he's wearing every single thing he's ever been given.
Uh-huh.
And in the comic it's just like him as like a paper doll or whatever. He's so good.
Yeah.
And then him imagining like telling everybody about the Three Musketeers. Great shit.
Character doesn't read as 18 in the movie.
No. Not even fucking close.
Guys, this character is 18. What are you doing?
He's 18, like Riverdale characters are 18.
Yeah. Yeah, in general, like, I mean, that's also just feels like 70s, or just in general movie shit.
Yeah,
Characters all seeming too old. Which is like, this is just a case where like that really hits, because part of the point of the book is like, these are children.
Yeah. Just kids.
The Children's Crusade, A Duty Dance with Death. The alternate title.
Yeah.
Kind of annoyed how many printings like don't put that on the cover. I feel like that should just always also be on the cover.
Yep. My edition does
like
not
my
have
version does not have it on the cover.
Which version do you have? Is it the kind of pink one? Red, pink?
I have who put this out? Delta Fiction. Like this printing, these paperback printings that like they put out most of his books in this same format at the time. Let me find a picture. I also have a ratty old beat up version that has like a picture from the movie on the cover.
I feel like I feel like I have the same one you do. If Google is, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say that I do.
With the V. This one.
Oh,
No.
wow! I got played. That looks more like the one that I got sent by mistake, I believe. Wow, I got absolutely, your description absolutely matched, because there's I'm looking at these other covers and they're like in the same style. They're a little like, it features art like by him. Like there's a skull and crossbones.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of his other novels just in Google Images appeared, and it's like same style. His name is in the same place, same way. I'm like, oh, this has to be it.
And then I also
Okay.
have this version, like incredibly beat up.
Oh, it looks better. That's the good shit. Yeah. No, this is I highly recommend Slaughterhouse
Oh,
Five.
I think this is
Oh, you got something saucier?
I just think a better cover. Where it's
Yeah.
like shaped like a tombstone. And
Yeah.
it says
Yeah, that's pretty
or
good.
the Children's Crusade on it.
Yeah, no, the second title is I don't understand why that's not added.
It's like the whole idea of part of the book.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, it's right. Like immediately, they get
Yep.
into that.
Fucking what's her name would be very mad.
Margaret?
O'Hare's wife, Margaret.
What is it, Margaret?
Think?
I just looked at my heart.
No, Mary.
Ah, shit.
Mary O'Hare.
So close. Mary is like short for Margaret, though.
Oh,
That's exactly how it is. You never,
yeah.
you never heard.
I
her
also could have
referred
checked the Mary is one of the people that the novel's dedicated to at the front.
to-
For Mary O'Hare and Gerhard Muller.
Gotcha.
Muller.
Did not look at that.
The other difference on the comic is they take the Elliot Rosewater name and make it another like epitaph or whatever. The line, I think you guys are gonna have to come up with a lot of wonderful new lies, or people aren't gonna want to go on living.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good line.
I also put people aren't supposed to look back. I'm certainly not going to do it anymore. After that.
God. Such a good book.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I feel like I need to mention is the number of people who died at Dresden.
Yeah.
Because the modern historians have decided that the number is only 25,000, and that's the number that's in the comic.
I noticed that, yeah.
Not more than died at Hiroshima. Because so where Kurt gets that number, I think, is understood as like no, there weren't people who wanted to look into how many people died at Dresden at first.
Mm-hmm.
Like that wasn't a thing people were interested in. So the source was a historian who's a piece of garbage Holocaust denier.
Great.
So that guy's number was incorrect.
Yeah.
He just didn't have a better source for the number.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I noticed that in the comic.
In the yeah. But doesn't the story still stands.
I mean, yeah. Like it doesn't need to be fucking worse than than Hiroshima to like if you're caught in it, you know.
Yeah. It's still an entire civilian city being annihilated.
Yeah, dude. I got I got completely surprised I mean, in a way that I think in the last, 5, 6 years, a lot of people have been sort of surprised, but mine was on a different topic. With World War II, I suggested to someone I like to think fairly close with, suggested that maybe all of the civilian bombings and like the nuclear bombings, bit much, not really necessary. Met with absolute fury. Like, this person believed very strongly that we had to do shit like that. I'm like, I just don't.
Yeah.
Ugh. Not even like a maybe. Like, they were just all in on nope, had to, 100%. Disgusting.
Yeah.
It's just gross. It's like, I mean, it it probably goes without saying, like the concept of being unstuck in time, and then viewing that alongside like what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't know.
Well, because like you get to we only look at the good parts when you're unstuck in time, because the other option is you're always interested.
Yeah.
Like, just the worst thing that ever happened to you, you're always there. And
Yeah.
it's just, you live there now, and that's like, you just can't. You just can't do it. More about being broken.
Yeah. Oh, totally. God, I think the moment with the movie when I got like maybe a tiny bit upset, I guess, where I was kind of just like, all right, kind of like low key go fuck yourself a little. when when Billy's at his anniversary party and he's supposed to get all psyched out by the barbershop quartet and then give the sapphire ring to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And instead they just ignore all of that and he gives her the ring and she's happy and he's happy. And I'm like, okay. You couldn't even do the one thing that is like clearly PTSD driven. Like, I mean, a lot of shit is, but
we have to get to the scene of him walking in on his son masturbating.
God,
that's what's
that
important,
bit as
Ben.
well. Unfucking real.
Yeah, that movie's not good.
And
the fact that movie also like ends with clap, like applause and fireworks on Trafalgar.
yeah. Yeah.
Not good.
Whole thing just a little much. But the book,
comics,
the
better
comics,
than movies.
The comics.
Oh, they got a good creative team. Like Ryan North is legit one of my favorite comic writers. So, also I was excited when I heard because I don't know how many writers I would trust to adapt Slaughterhouse-Five, but Ryan North was it's the short list. So. I was sure it was going to be great.
Would that be Ryan North of Adventure Time and the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl?
Yes.
Nice.
Also, one of the protagonist of Ryan North versus Porky Pig. A great comic by... Again, what's his name? Also, Ryan North of that Twitter thread Ryan North did about getting stuck in a hole. Where he had a broken leg and he he stepped into a skate park bowl and then he couldn't get out. And he was trapped there. It's a great Twitter thread. Highly recommend.
Nice. I see he has done.
Yeah, Jason Latour is who wrote The Porky Pig. And Chip Zdarsky, I think, drew it. Yeah. I think.
I see he's done not one but two choose your own adventure stories for Shakespeare plays.
Yes, I own both of those, and I own his Shakespeare Punching a Shark and Other Stories short
Hell yeah.
book.
Porky Pig versus Ryan North, a true enough story.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Secret is it's about Elmer Fudd.
Wow. You can't just bait me like that, man. Anyway,
Ryan North also very tall and Canadian.
hold up. How tall? Taller than you?
Taller than me.
Jesus Christ. You're like the
I think
tallest
he has
person I've ever
also a
met.
big wingspan.
Well, I mean, yeah.
As I think like wider than.
All right, Ryan North height. Wow, this is in fucking meters. That doesn't tell me anything.
6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
That's pretty tall. I don't think that's taller than you.
That's taller than me.
Nah.
I'm only like 6'3".
I fucking remember tilting my head so far back.
This is just because you're short.
No. I'm
only like 6'3".
I'm like close enough to 6 foot to be able to lie about it. I'm like 5'11" and 3/4 inches. It's frustratingly close to 6 foot. I had to tilt my head like all the way back. I'm gonna give myself like a fake memory. Every time I think about it, I had to tilt my head farther back, and someday I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I had to bend over.
He was
backwards.
blotting out the sun.
Oh,
I stood within his shadow.
I looked up and there was more Hank than Sky.
Also, the thing I first knew Ryan North, he does a webcomic, Dinosaur Comics, which is the same clip art of dinosaurs every day, but the text is different. At quants.com.
I just want to see if it's the same Dinosaur Comics. I know.
QWANTZ.com.
Yeah, I think I know.
It's very good. Strongly recommend Dinosaur Comics.
Wait, how do you spell it? Quant?
QWANTZ. Quants.
Yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah, this is what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good.
Anyway,
Shit. Anyway, that's a podcast.
Slaughterhouse-Five, real solid. Comic
Strong
also
recommend.
book
Yeah.
and comic. I think you do. I think you'd have to read I don't think it's a comic you could do on its own. No.
No.
It has two. It has just.
I mean, you could, but I would say.
It has like just enough that's either missing or that's like cut out but nodding to. Like you wouldn't get some stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I would very strongly recommend book and then comic. But
Totally.
yeah, they're great. You could skip the film. Don't.
Yeah, no.
Nobody.
The film is not essential.
Ain't nobody need that many F slurs in their life.
I think the film. I feel like one of the few people who even fucking remembers the film a lot of times. So
That checks out.
because it's
I barely remember it. Yeah.
Anyway, saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. Salt Circle Podcast on various podcasting platforms, including Amazon Podcasts.
Ooh.
And Spotify and other places. Apple.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm not on Twitter. I am about to be in bed, and I'm stoked for it. It's like
Sounds great.
Hmm?
Sounds great.
Yeah, no. 4:45 in the morning. I'm that feeling when you're just so tired that you just collapse. You just become
Now you
the
don't have
bed.
to wake up early.
I know. It got to the point where I was like, what's going to feel worse? Staying up stupidly fucking late and being able to sleep, or waking up early and sleeping like 4 or 5 hours? I'm like, yeah. I usually don't stay up this late anymore, but fuck it. It was a good time.